everyone, welcome to my show, My So-Called Fabulous. I'm Tiffany. Welcome, everyone. It is so good to talk to you today. You can see me on YouTube. Are you following along on that YouTube channel? You should. We have a lot of fun. Well, today I'm bringing you kind of another me, I guess you could say. A mom, for sure, a social media influencer, content creator. Let me tell you about her. She's a wife, mother of three, all three boys younger than seven and younger, blogger, social media influencer, content creator. 2020, are you listening, people? 2020 Fort Worth Magazine Best of Social Media Influencers. You chose her. You're the reader picks. You chose her. I'm so happy to have this fabulous woman with a stunningly beautiful pink hair. If you see her gallivanting around Fort Worth, you know that you have met Laura Lape. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
What an intro.
That was a wonderful intro.
Don't you feel so special now?
I do. I really do. I should have that play every time I walk into a room. That's
exactly,
what I really want.
Exactly. It is a pleasure meeting you. And for sure, this year we've met. We know each other through social.
We've met at a couple things, for sure.
But it is so great to have you because I want you to talk to me about and talk to the listeners and the viewers about what we do and being a mom, because you, number one, y'all, I've said it how many times, the most important job in the world, and I will say this, is being a mother or a parent for sure, but being a mother. And when my child's still at 24, she wants to talk, I'm listening. So that's your number one job.
Yeah, it is. And it's also, it's the hardest. It's the most thankless. It is absolutely brutal. Pandemic parenting took it to a whole new level. And I guess I can stop complaining about it. There are good things about it as well.
Right.
It is very, very rewarding.
It is. But it was a time. I mean, we were thrown together like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean,
everything changed, and I don't know. No one really prepared me for the isolation that comes with motherhood, and that isn't even taking a pandemic into consideration. Just, someone's got a fever, there goes your week. And this is still from a perspective of a stay-at-home mom. I cannot imagine being a working mom. I just think parents as a whole, it is an absolute brutal uphill battle every single day.
Because it doesn't come with a manual at all.
No. It's very much trial and error. And also we're just constantly thinking, what can we do to avoid a future therapy session? Like, how do we approach this topic? And it always happens just the most, in between trying to do things around Fort Worth. I'll walk my kid to school and he'll just be like, why do people die? And you're just, okay, cool. I've maybe 10 seconds to answer this in a way that doesn't scar you emotionally for the rest of your life. Like, just those kind of moments like that are just always being prepared. So, and
it's tough being prepared. I mean, what is the right answer? Growing up, Laura, my father always had the answer. He did. And I adore him so much. And through the years, of course, and when I would meet men along the way that didn't have the answer, I was like, and my dad did tell me, he's like, Tiffy, sometimes it wasn't the right answer, but I was giving you an answer, and it's good because I idolized him.
And that's something that we try to lean into with like a relatively good amount of security as well, but also letting our kids know, we don't know.
We don't.
There is a little bit of validity in uncertainty, and it's okay to be uncertain, and it's okay to move forward in that. Like that's a really hard for adults to grasp, let alone children. So casually trying to explain that in between handing out yogurts is really
exactly.
It's like you're just a mini therapist.
Exactly. And you are. I mean, it's our responsibility too. And I have told my daughter before, I'm like, I don't know the answer today, but next time I see you, I will know the answer, or at least give you a direction.
Oh, yeah. I do that a lot. Well, you know what? We can talk about that in the morning.
Exactly.
That's a great breakfast conversation. That's what we say.
I have a question for you, and this just popped in. This wasn't on the notes for us, but do you want your children to be like you?
I'm not sure, because sometimes we actually see my kids being like me, and I'm like, oh, I actually asked my husband recently, I said, is this what it's like existing around me with just this unbridled confidence that I can just say whatever I want? And I think to a certain extent, yes, and to a certain extent, no. I want them to be better than me, maybe. I want them to have, I don't think that they need to have everything figured out, but I just think I want them to have things that as an adult I'm figuring out, even just like leaning into uncertainty. I want them to have that figured out a little bit, or at least be a little bit more secure in that, so that whenever they reach adulthood, they can confidently walk around their life.
Oh, absolutely. I always say, people are like, why did you start a podcast? Why did you get, I'm 58 now and doing this. And people are, why? And I'm like, I'm not finished, but I do want to share with everyone what I love, just like you and your blog, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to share my success and my failures. And my failures have been more prevalent in years, but I learned from them. And I've had therapist after therapist on the show saying, stop saying failures. I'm like, well, they freaking were.
It's good, though. It's good. And I think it's really important to share that, because the idea that, I don't know. I just think that there are so many little failures on an everyday basis that.
Oh, of course.
And you just have to attack that and go, okay, tomorrow's going to be better. The next hour is going to be better. Whatever.
That's right. Okay. You, I think you were pregnant with your first baby. You were 10 weeks before you were due, and you moved in 2016 from Vancouver, right?
Yes, we did.
Why to Texas?
Honestly, we kind of just chose Texas. A lot of people have that kind of question of if you could choose to live wherever you wanted to. And we tell people, yeah, we did. And we chose Fort Worth. My husband works remote, so we were given pretty much a list of about 5 countries we couldn't live in. And we lived in Canada for a little bit, absolutely loved it. And then we got pregnant and just started thinking about being closer to family, thinking about what that meant for our kids and their relationship with their grandparents, as well as us, all these things that you have to take in now, thinking about another person. And so, we took a long road trip at 30 weeks pregnant. Do not recommend. But we landed in Fort Worth. It's a great city, and I think we love it a lot more than we thought we would.
Really?
Yeah. Because on paper, it's actually really compelling. And this is 7 years ago that we're sitting there going, okay, growth trends, excellent. Look at the cost of living, obviously factored into it. And since then we've had 2 more kids and invited my mother-in-law to live with us. So that has proven to be a good decision, a long-term decision. But
really?
Yeah. Our kids won't be surprised at all when it happens that they go to college and we sell all of our stuff and go move in some tiny apartment in a big city. They better not be surprised.
I don't think they'll be surprised at all. Well, that is great, because you got here and you love it. And I moved here. My husband is from Fort Worth. I was in Austin raising my daughter. We had a commuter marriage, and I went to TCU, so I knew I loved it. Okay, but my goodness, it's changed since 1987.
It's changed just in the past years that I've been here.
Right.
And we moved here knowing, I have extended family in Fort Worth, so I do know a couple people. Enough to know that it was a better place to land than Dallas. And we just kind of went from there. And I leaned really heavily into online, into social media, learning about my new city, because when you're 30 weeks pregnant, that's really not the time that I would want to go walk around a new city, especially in a new climate.
Right, exactly. So Laura and I have, like I was telling you, very common profession. We're mothers first, but we also, we both are social media influencers, content creators. We go back and forth with the word, and Laura does have a comment or two about that. But about a month ago to 6 weeks ago, Laura and I were at a gathering of one of our dear friends, Liz Nelson. And Liz went back into the workforce, and Liz has been on the podcast 3 times now. And I have to say, Fort Worth, I do talk to friends of mine that are influencers in other cities that there's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of they're not working as a unit, as a camaraderie. And I feel like in our city, the group of women that we have, the majority,
Yeah.
we support each other so much. And that day, supporting Liz, you were there, I were there, so many of her friends, probably 20 of our friends. And, hey, you want to be on my podcast? Yes. Would you rate and review or like and comment? Right? Isn't it wonderful?
There is a real, I think it is also just kind of an extension of Fort Worth and their small business mentality, and just the care that people in the city show each other. Because I've had other business owners who, when I say, I kind of discount myself and what I do, we're talking other business owners who are saying what you do is a business, and I just think that's really, that's something really unique about Fort Worth. Also, we're really lucky. I think, Fort Worth is not oversaturated in the realm of social media influencers or people who regularly use that term of content creators and things like that. So I do think that we're in a really unique position in that we can establish relationships with both each other and also local businesses.
Well, and I've told everyone on the show before, this is a business. This is a 100.
Yeah,
and people,
absolutely.
Y'all that keep asking me if
the amount of work,
my hobby, it's not a freaking hobby.
Yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of work. I constantly thank my husband, who just handles so much, so that way I can step out. There's a reason why I'm almost never out after dark. I joke that I have to go back home because it's bedtime and I have to do the bedtime routine and things like that. So it is absolutely work. And so much of the work for me is scheduling it around family.
So how did you start it? How did you get started? You came to Texas. You hadn't started yet, right?
Okay, so I was familiar with content creation in Vancouver because it is very saturated. You look out your window and you see mountains, you see beaches, you see the most incredible landscape that you could imagine. And so it's quite easy to create content. You literally just walk outside. Where it took a little bit more effort here. And so moving here with marketing education, as well as just kind of being thrown into a realm of content creation with friends back in Vancouver, I was like, okay, where do I fit into this? And essentially I was like, I want to learn more about my city. I will just kind of let people into that, and also learn more about what it is to have a kid and what it is to be a plus size woman, having a pregnancy, having a child, having a life, and also exploring a new city. So I just leaned into social media as far as just having no social anxiety. Just when in doubt, sent DMs saying, hi, I'd like to meet you. I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to come by. And starting that process of supporting people online and just diving into Fort Worth online. Right.
And the networking as well. You said in Voyager magazine, you said, how do you network and what's the benefit of networking? And you're saying, ask people and make a date. Go to lunch.
Yeah. I think there's a common theme among women in the South where you say, let's get together, and they go, yes, it sounds wonderful, and then it just fades into the air and it never happens, and you see each other around and smile. And I think there's something really special about saying, hey, let's do something, and then you immediately whip out a calendar and you're like, I want to prioritize getting together with you.
Right.
And that matters.
It does. It does matter. It does matter. I know. And I have had several DMs this week. It was about some recipe I put out. But people are always saying, I'm so sorry to bother you. I know you're so busy. But that's your job.
I get that too. And I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm aware that I'm busy, and I am still so happy to help in any way that I can, because I assume that a lot of people who follow me are also in my situation of being a mom and trying to balance that, what that looks like as far as life, parenting, and just the isolation that comes with that.
Well, and it's true. You and I were talking about this, and I want everyone listening to this because it does make a difference to you and I and so many of my friends that are doing this. But Sunday, we were out in a local restaurant, and this woman came up to me. I did not know this woman, and I know she noticed me, and I was like, okay, what's going on? She looked at me and said, Tiffany, I love your blog. And I say it now, and I really, really get a tear because it makes it so worthy and makes me feel so validated that people, I mean, we're doing something to make a difference.
Yeah. I had a moment like that where I got pretty choked up over the weekend. It was election day, and I had people messaging me and tagging me and things like that saying, hey, I went out and voted because of you, or you reminded me to vote. Hey, I voted, I'm tagging you, just those things. And, you know, it wasn't a huge number, but it was one of those things where I told my husband, I'm like, people are voting because I reminded them to vote. And I was like, that's just like, I was just like, I need a moment. I need a moment to just soak this in because that is so powerful. Like, I don't care what they buy. I don't care what, affiliate link they hit. I cannot believe I moved someone to the ballot. Like, that's incredible.
Unbelievable. I mean, it does feel good, and we are listening to y'all and putting out things that we hope that everyone loves and likes. And look at these girls going by. If you're watching on YouTube, this sweet little private school is walking by, and they're all waving. So cute. So I'm distracted. That's like I said, squirrel. So anyway, but so, you know, what we do, you said it to me in a text. Are people reading our blogs? Are they watching our videos?
I never know.
You know, I mean,
and it's so easy. I think whenever you put yourself out there to go into that spiral of, do people care?
Right.
I mean, I have so many drafted blog posts that I'm just sitting there hovering going, do people care? Do people care about this? And I'm like, it's okay because like someone cares and it's going to matter and it matters to me. And it is a creative outlet, but it is also really like calling it a creative outlet almost minimizes it because I think it's so important for people to create. Mm-hmm. And as far as for me, so much of my day is talking to toddlers. And so if I get the chance to pour out my heart about how I make coffee or recommend a tattoo artist in town, I'm going to take that opportunity because it just means so much. But yeah, blogging is hard. And also just the ever-changing algorithms and everything that's going on as far as social media and all of the new things to keep up with. All of a sudden, instead of just having fun taking photos and editing photos, I'm now taking a photo, creating a reel, making a blog post, and you're doing all these things. And all of a sudden I'm like, this is too much. This is too much.
Yeah, and it is a lot. It is too much. And again, it's you, the listeners and followers that are really giving us energy, that creative energy as well. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so valuable when we have that interaction with people who are following us, just to, I don't know, be reminded that it's worth it, that it's doing something, and also what resonates with them, because some people are moved by a reel and other people are moved by a photo. Mm-hmm. And even knowing that is helpful.
Right. You know what you said earlier, and I think that this goes unnoticed a lot, is what we do appreciate and what people don't understand is actually liking our things and commenting or saving, because that makes a difference to us. That fuels our soul and it helps us with our brand.
It feels so silly to ask people to like things and to share things and to save things. It feels so dumb. But we know that social media is just brutal to small content creators and to creators as a whole. And so I could not imagine being an artist or being someone where this is fueling my livelihood. I think that would be just brutal because every comment does matter.
It does.
It matters when I look at those insights and I see how many people have saved it. And those insights matter because I have to turn those over often to brands.
Yes.
And people don't realize that and they're going, cute photo. And I'm like, don't scroll. Just hit the like save.
Exactly. I hope you're all learning something because it's true. Everything she's saying it's absolutely true, and we appreciate it so much.
It matters so much, and it is so appreciated.
Yeah.
And that's part of that camaraderie that you were talking about just within the Fort Worth community as a whole, as far as small businesses and local influencers and things like that, because there is this level of support where like I've gotten messages and I've sent messages to other creators just saying, hey, can you just give me a little bit of traction on that? This is, I posted on the wrong day. No one sees this, those kind of things. And people are just absolutely willing to help out. And the same with small businesses.
Yeah, because that's what it is, a small business. Yeah. Okay, your platform, you are food. You talk about...
I'm whatever is happening that day, I think, is really a lot of... I've just learned, I think before 2020, I kind of had things a little bit more planned. And I think just after that and leaning into being a parent, I just had to learn to be okay.
Right.
Saying, okay, I was able to cook a lot this weekend, so I'm gonna take a picture of my food. Okay, I was able to go out. Let's take a picture of us going out. Things like that, and just trying to be in the moment as much as possible, and also just highlight my day.
Right.
And find even if it finds a little bit of joy in your day by taking a great photo of you or your food or your kids. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
What a great moment.
It is. How do you balance all of this with the most important job, being a mother?
Lots of open communication. That is absolutely first and foremost. Anytime I get too involved in a moment, my husband Kyle is almost always at my side saying, hey, no one's paying you for this. And I'm like, that's a great reminder. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Let me take a step back. And I really try to pride myself being someone who is going to get the shot, but also I don't want to interfere with actually having fun with people because I'm getting out as a mom. I'm not about to turn a girls' night into a whole photo shoot content day. I want to go out with my friends. Right. But I also want a really good shot of our drinks or our food or us together, because it is. And I mean, anyone who's gone out with me for any occasion knows that I'll just be casually sitting and all of a sudden, boom, big old camera just comes out, quickly switching up lenses, whatever I can do, and then grab a photo and put it back because I really want to be in the moment.
And present too.
Yeah. And that's hard. And that's just a lot of communication, I feel like, with both my friends and my husband. So the people who I'm around know that I want to keep it to a point where I'm not sitting there thinking about photography the entire time while we're hanging out.
Sure. It's taken me, I've been doing this 4 years, I think. But it's taken me a minute. And I think finally this year, I am present. I found myself.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is. It's a unique struggle
Yeah.
for content creators, because you are thinking in a way that says, how can I highlight this moment? Which of course opens up a can of worms as far as what social media does for our psyche and all these kind of things. But, we talk about comparison and all of these things with social media. It is actually it's like your brain tunes into it when you understand the gig and you understand your niche of what you're wanting to do. Then every single thing you're doing, and you're going, where's the photo here? Mm-hmm. Where is the moment that I'm trying to highlight? What is the vibe that I'm wanting to put off? Because essentially social media as a whole is storytelling. Mm-hmm. And so what's the story you want to tell in this moment? And I try to keep that story as authentic as possible.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's huge. People, being authentic. And I have had a couple other influencers tell me they cannot believe you get on there without makeup on. I'm like, well, half my life I don't have makeup on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, it gets really hot So I just can't understand. We're really getting into the summertime makeup, which is essentially sunscreen and sunglasses.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. But
if you all see me out, that's why.
But being present, it's not just in our career, not being a mom, a parent, a partner.
Yeah, it's important in your friendships as well, because
it is.
I don't know, when I spend time with my friends, I don't want them to think that I'm sitting there trying to video them, trying to get a photo of them or get that moment correct. I want to enjoy that time with them. It doesn't have to be documented.
Right.
But that is also sort of unlearning to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Because again, this is a job. It's a valid job. It's a very real thing. And people that don't, they love to poo-poo it, but it is so real. It is.
So let's talk about your children. And you put out a TikTok. When did you do this?
It was whenever, let's see, my middle was, it was years ago.
Really?
Years.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking probably like 3 years.
3 years
or 4
ago.
years ago.
Okay. So probably
like
the pandemic, probably of 2020 for sure.
Yeah.
So you put a TikTok out, went viral, and I talked to you talked to my daughter about this, but having your children on your social is a no-no for you.
Well, yes, to a certain extent. I am okay posting just basic, like the standard portrait of, hello, I have 3 children. These are them. But as far as everyday things, it's so difficult. I can't imagine putting my kid's face out there. And I know that I've lost brand sponsorships, ambassador, whatever, campaigns, because I specify that I know that I can produce quality content without showing my children's face. After 1 year old, I have a rule that I don't use their face in any sponsored advertisements. And there's no judgment on other parents who don't make this rule. I want to make that clear. But for me, it just made me really uncomfortable. Like this video, they're playing with cheese. And my oldest has a dump truck and dumped a bunch of cheese off the island. And my middle child picked up cheese from said dump truck and ate it. That's the video. It's cute. It was a moment where we were like, these kids are already working together, and it was a little chunk of a baby on the floor. And so, and people just went off about how I was a terrible parent, about cheese prices, about flaunting wealth, about my grout being disgusting, all these things that I eventually just had to stop looking. But I couldn't imagine, that was really a wake up moment for me as far as putting my kids out online and going, okay. And then I also had another video with a very unique audience of what would be considered incel men. And I had that video where I had someone rant for 10 minutes on a YouTube clip about how much they hated me and how much they wished that no violence would come to me, but that every single bad thing would happen and that my kids would be hurt and things like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's enough for me not to have my children's face out there. So anytime, there's also just some safety concerns about location, I don't tag where I am. Anytime I'm going to show the outside of my house, I will always Photoshop out my number or try to take away street signs. I'm sure people get annoyed because every once in a while I'll pop into someone's DM and be like, hey girl, I can triangulate your location so easily because you've got street signs in the background. Yeah. Just those kind of things. But yeah, having kids on social media is a really, really weird thing. And especially as they get older, I just don't want to document every single aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
We've really had this sort of pulling away where, we've lost big teeth and that's very exciting. And that can stay in the chat. That can stay in text. We don't need that. I don't need soccer practices, ultrasound photos and things like that online. And again,
nothing wrong
no
with it.
shade with people who do. Just for me, I see a lot more value in keeping my kids as much off as social media as possible without it being like we don't know what children look like.
Right. Exactly.
While people still are like, yes, we're up to date on things.
Exactly. You know, TikTok is brutal too. I put Kennedy's graduation. We did a TikTok reel, and you know, a lot of it's brand deals. I mean, I mean, my daughter and another young woman that works with me said, "Don't read it. Don't, just stop." Well, what did I do? I'm reading how horrible I am and all these other
no.
It was horrible.
I haven't seen that one.
So, you know, I
haven't seen the comments.
Yeah,
but that's awful.
But you know, it's these young women that were telling me, stop. It's a different.
The harshest comment sections on TikTok are always moms talking about preferences in kids' clothing. At least the side of TikTok that I'm on. I'm sure there are absolutely terrible ones filled with really, really awful people. But it just feels like people, they attack so easily on TikTok. TikTok is brutal. But at the same time, it's also the platform where everyone wants to be makeup free and be themselves to the most. But it is also so vulnerable.
Right. And I'm going to wrap up here in a minute, but I do want to talk about the responsibility of not just being a parent, but in doing what we do. We do have a responsibility for sure to not use this as a political platform, to not use to use this to help each other. Like I was telling you, someone's like, I'm making my bed now because you showed me how you made your bed. Well, I was just showing you because I'm trying to show you the sheets, but you know, and helping someone.
I think there's a lot of responsibility that comes with having an online presence. And I think that's part of why I go through with my husband about pretty much every campaign, sponsorship, hosting, dinner, things like that. If it's a business that I'm going to highlight, we love to highlight the businesses who we agree with politically and who we agree. And that's also something that Fort Worth has really unique, is that you get to know the small business owners on that kind of level. And so part of that authenticity is that I genuinely love the places I go, the people I'm interacting with, the businesses that I shop at regularly. And but there's a lot of, and that's also, you know, a part of showing your kids, that's part of the responsibility, but also handling everything, I don't know, with tact, being wise about what you post. I will never post in the moment. I will always take things home, collect and think about it, because then you end up posting stupid stuff or violating FTC guidelines, because again, it's a real job with actual legalities that hold true for people. And so there are rules, not just made up ethical rules, but also real legalities in place for being in this career field.
Right. It's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
I mean, any career is, but for sure.
And so there's a responsibility to, and also I just think if you're building a community, if you're in it for the community, for the authenticity, and for, the genuine ability to help people and push people into a new perspective, then you won't, then that, I feel like that will come through to a certain extent, because you want that connection with the people. And that's what I'm here for, is because I'm in the middle of nap time and bedtime, and after kids go to bed, I have an entire community of online friendships that I've really learned not to undermine, because I feel like digital friendships are really, really beautiful.
I do too. You know, I was going to ask you, do you like social media?
I do. I really do.
I do.
I have my background in marketing, and I enjoy learning about social media. I enjoy learning about the trends. I think it's incredibly valuable as a parent that I can continue learning and have those discussions with my kids as they get older, because it seems like it's only going to get worse and more convoluted. And I'm really, really interested in it.
Yeah.
Like, sure, witch hunts are awful, but it's wildly fascinating when they happen.
It is.
Things that go viral can be great and they can be awful. And it's so interesting. And we live in a world where it's so different. It's so different even from just a few years ago, I feel like, in the way we support local and the way we do these things. And I don't know, it's just, I love social media.
I do too.
I think social media is not the bad guy. Lots of people are like, no, social media is awful. Social media is not the bad guy. There are bad people.
There's bad guys.
Yeah.
And gals. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, it's true. I love it. And I love seeing people. I love learning. I'm just amazed at how we shop these days, how we communicate. And I love my friendships, including you, that I've made in this platform.
There's so many people that we've just met each other this year, and we've been interacting for years online. And it's just because, you know, you're able to find your crew online and then meet in person. And it's like, I don't know, it's like a reuniting with a best friend, sort of. It's a really powerful thing that I think even just maybe like 10 years ago, people didn't take as seriously. And now, I mean, it's very common to have mom getaways where people are meeting up with online friends and things like that. I think it's really great. There are local groups here in Fort Worth where people will just say, hey, I'm going out. Anyone available? Want to go hang out? That's incredible.
Yes. I mean, the networking.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
All right, girl. I have had so much fun with you, and thank you for spreading your word, your knowledge, your view on being a mommy of three little boys. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. And everyone follow her. How can we find you?
You can find me across every platform at LAURA_LAPE. Laura_Lape.
It's Lape, y'all. It's Lape, not Lape.
Yeah, not Lap. I get it all the time. It's totally okay. I'll respond to anything even remotely similar to Laura, but it'll be hard to find. But I am the only one probably with pink hair. Yeah.
Okay, y'all. So the pink hair, if you see her beautiful hair on YouTube, here it is. And she, this morning, I ran into a young woman. Her hair is pink, and it wasn't what she wanted it to be. Let's put it there. It's not the beautiful color. And I said, go and follow my friend Laura because you tell people how to do it.
Yeah. I do this at home, which is a little ridiculous, but years and years and years of going to a salon and understanding how my hair lifts with bleach, I was like, I think I can do this. When quarantine hit, I was like, I've got to figure something out. And also there's just the amount of women that stop me and say, I wish I could do that. And I'm like, you can.
Just do it.
You can. It's very, very freeing. And also a lot of people tend to think that I'm obsessed with pink because I have pink hair. I love pink, but I really just like it on me.
Yeah.
Like I
girl, it works.
It happens a lot that I've tried every color and I just really enjoy pink. And I think it's really a freeing experience. So if you're considering it, try it out. Try a little patch here somewhere if you've got rules. It's a really, I don't know, it feels like me more than any other color has. And no one has ever asked, I don't know, do people ever ask you as a brunette, do people ever are you obsessed with brown?
No. No one just assumes.
Right.
Just not obsessed with
Lots
gray.
of people all the time, people, why pink? And I'm like, why not? Why not?
Yeah, it's outside the box.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Laura, so much for being here today and spreading your information. And I just love being in your little group of people. So thank you. And everyone, thank you so much for following along, watching us today. Like I said, we're on YouTube. And everyone, have a beautiful day. Follow us all and keep being fabulous.